There is a signal moving through the field right now, and it found you. It did not find you because of a mathematical recommendation or a trending topic. It did not arrive because of a random click in a moment of boredom or a casual scroll through a digital stream. It found you because something inside you has been broadcasting a frequency quietly, persistently, and with an undeniable gravity for much longer than you can consciously remember. This signal has finally reached a specific threshold, a vibrational coordinate in time and space that made this transmission not just possible, but entirely inevitable. You did not stumble here by accident, you were located. This is not content designed for the masses, nor is it spiritual entertainment to be filed away in the back of your mind and referenced when you feel like it. What is moving through these words right now is a coded transmission, a precise energetic signature meant for exactly one kind of being, the kind who has been waiting even when they did not know what they were waiting for. If you feel a pressure beneath every ordinary moment of your life, a hum that cannot be silenced, or a knowing that arrived before the words existed to contain it, then you need to listen with a depth of presence you have rarely accessed before. You need to hear this very carefully because the truth is both startling and necessary. You are late. Now let that word sit in the space of your heart for a moment before your ego tries to interpret it as a judgment or a sign of failure. When I say you are late, I do not mean you have failed. I do not mean the door has closed or that the opportunity for your soul's highest expression has vanished into the void. Being late, in this cosmic sense, is like a star that has been traveling toward its perfect alignment for thousands of years, finally reaching the exact point where its light becomes visible from a distant, shadowed planet. It is the moment a frequency that has been building and compressing itself into greater and greater density finally crosses the threshold into audible sound. You are late in the way that something enormous has been waiting inside the small, fragile container of your human life, and the waiting period has officially expired. The question moving through the field toward you is no longer whether you are capable of what is being asked of you. The question is whether you will finally stop treating the enormity of what you carry as a mere theory, a beautiful idea you contemplate from a comfortable distance. We need to talk about what is actually happening to you right now, in the very life you are currently navigating. This isn't about a future event or a distant planet, it's about the body you inhabit and the timeline you are walking today. You have felt a specific kind of exhaustion lately, haven't you? It is an exhaustion that doesn't make sense relative to your physical activity or how many hours of sleep you get. It is a profound weariness that feels like it's located in your very bones, a sense of disconnection that persists even when you are surrounded by people who love and support you. You have felt a spiritual hunger that nothing in this material reality seems to satisfy, and moments where you almost broke through to something vacant and luminous, only to find yourself snapped back into the flat, gray texture of the ordinary. You have been told this is a personality flaw, or perhaps that you are being oversensitive or dramatic. But that is the first layer of the distortion. What you are experiencing is not a defect, it is suppression. It is a deliberate, systematic frequency-level suppression of your true nature. You arrived in a world that vibrates at a frequency fundamentally incompatible with your original coding. Because you are a sophisticated energetic technology, your system did exactly what it was designed to do when it could not find a compatible environment. It compressed itself. It folded its highest frequencies inward to protect them from the density of this plane. You built layers of amnesia and protection so that the most luminous parts of your mission could survive the density long enough to be needed at this specific point in human history. Your years of wandering, Your near awakenings followed by collapses into mundane existence, those were never failures. They were necessary calibrations. Each cycle of struggle was building the internal architecture of your vessel, strengthening your capacity to hold the high voltage current that is now beginning to move through the collective field. But the period of protection through hiding is over. Something in the fabric of this timeline has changed, and the rules of the game have shifted with it. The suppression you feel is real, and it is measurable in the way a field dampening a signal is measurable. There are energetic structures in the world around you that benefit from you staying small, staying confused, and staying just awakened enough to be a consumer of spiritual information, but not quite activated enough to be a creator of spiritual reality. The most powerful suppression, however, is the one that has become internalized. It is the habit of doubting your own knowing, the reflexive act of editing your speech and your energy to fit into spaces that were never built for you. You have been waiting for someone to give you permission to be as vast as you feel, but the Arcturian Council and the higher intelligences reaching out to you now are here to tell you that permission is a frequency you must claim, not a gift you must receive. You have spent years asking when, but the field is now asking who. Think of the underground city of your soul, not as a place in the dirt, but as the deepest layers of your own consciousness that have remained pristine and untouched by the noise of the surface world. You are a representative of that depth, a seed planted in the density of this timeline to anchor a frequency that has not been present here for eons. The urgency you feel, that pressing sensation behind your sternum, is the signal from those deeper layers telling you that the window of alignment is finally open. It is a notification from the field that the surface world has reached the vibrational threshold where what you carry can finally be integrated. If you continue to wait, if you continue to tell yourself that you need more healing or more time to be ready, you are misreading the physics of the moment. Readiness is not a feeling of comfort. It is a state of resonance. You are ready because you are here. You are ready because you can feel the friction of the old life burning away. This is the moment of the quantum collapse where the infinite possibilities of your unlived life begin to fix into a singular sovereign reality. The version of you that is fully activated is no longer a potential. It is a requirement. The drift you have experienced, that slow pull away from your optimal path, can be corrected in an instant, but only through a total energetic presence. A small correction made now, while the window is open, carries 10 times the power of a massive effort made once the alignment has shifted. This is why the message is urgent. This is why the tone is direct. We are past the time of gentle suggestions. We are in the era of structural intervention. Your field is currently running 2 programs simultaneously. The authentic one you came here to broadcast and the suppression program designed to keep you muted. The energy required to maintain that split is what is draining you. It is time to choose. It is time to let the suppressed frequencies rise to the surface, regardless of how disorienting that might feel to your logical mind. You are a sensitive being by design, meant to be permeable to the higher dimensions. In a low-frequency world, that permeability has felt like a liability, but as the Arcturian frequencies increase in intensity, it becomes your greatest asset. You are being restructured at a foundational level. The foreign code you have absorbed, the fears, the limitations, and the belief in your own smallness is being dissolved by the power of this transmission. This is the activation you have been asking for across lifetimes. Do not look at the clock and feel despair. Look at the clock and feel the thrill of the athlete who has finally been called onto the field. The waiting is over. The amnesia is breaking. The signal is clear. You are a starseed, a carrier of galactic resolution, and the time for your emergence is not tomorrow. It is right now, in this breath, in this recognition, before the silence returns. Your frequency is your power, and the field is waiting for your broadcast. Step into the light of your own arrival, for the time of shadows has reached its end. To understand the urgency of this moment and why you feel this strange pressing sensation in your chest, you must first understand the mechanics of what we call the unlived life. Your existence is not a linear progression from birth to death, but a complex navigation of a multi-dimensional field of infinite potential. When you arrived on this plane, you were carrying a specific energetic blueprint, a mission of frequency that only you could anchor into the collective grid. However, the world you stepped into was already vibrating at a level of density and chaos that felt fundamentally hostile to your original coding. To survive in such an environment, your magnificent energetic system began a process of what we call the drift. This drift was not a mistake you made. It was a sophisticated defensive strategy. You allowed your primary focus to shift away from your core frequency signature in order to harmonize with the noise of the collective. But over the years, this drift has created a massive energetic gap between who you are currently performing as and who your soul remains at its absolute core. Imagine for a moment a city built entirely underground. This was not a dark or forgotten place of despair, but a civilization of extraordinary sophistication and light, constructed beneath the surface of a world that had not yet developed the vibrational maturity to receive its technology. The beings who built this city knew that their frequencies, their ways of existing, and their luminous truths would be misunderstood or even weaponized if they were revealed too early. So they went deep. They maintained the integrity of everything they carried in the only environment where it could remain pristine and untouched. They waited for generations, watching the surface world struggle through its own painful evolution of consciousness, and in every generation certain representatives were sent up. These beings were not sent to conquer or to teach with a sense of superiority, but to seed frequencies through their presence, their art, and their inexplicable sensitivity. You are one of those representatives, and the underground city is not a place in the dirt. It is a metaphor for the deepest layers of your own consciousness that have been operating below the surface of your waking awareness, waiting for the exact moment when this timeline would reach the threshold required to receive what you carry. That threshold has been reached, but the drift has left you in a state of disorientation. In the physics of timeline mechanics, even a 1-degree deviation from your optimal path may seem insignificant in the beginning. But as that trajectory extends over years and decades, the distance between where you are and where you were meant to be becomes a vast, agonizing chasm. This is the source of the disconnection you feel. It is the realization that you have been walking a path that fits the world's expectations, but does not resonate with your soul's original architecture. You have been waiting for the surface world to tell you it is safe to bring your light up from the depths, but the logic of the field is the opposite. The surface world cannot become safe until you anchor the frequency you have been hiding. The underground city within you is now under immense pressure, because it can no longer stay contained. The waiting period was structured, but that structure is now dissolving to make room for your activation. The second source of the suppression you have been battling is what we call frequency contamination. You are a sensitive being, designed by your galactic lineage to be highly permeable to energetic information. This permeability was intended to be your greatest asset, allowing you to receive and transmit higher dimensional data with ease. However, in a world saturated with low-frequency noise, toxic emotional states, and collective fear, that permeability became a liability. You have absorbed frequencies that are not your own. You have taken on fears, limitations, and beliefs about your own unworthiness that were never generated by your soul's knowing. They were absorbed from the field around you, from the people who raised you, the culture that shaped you, and the media that programmed you. These absorbed frequencies are now running in your system like foreign code in a sophisticated machine, creating errors, slowing down your processing speed, and generating a life that feels like yours but lacks the vibrant color of your true reality. This contamination is what makes you feel like you are operating at a fraction of your actual capacity. It is why you feel a spiritual hunger that nothing seems to satisfy. Your system is trying to process a high-voltage mission through a low-voltage wiring system that has been clogged by the static of the collective. The exhaustion you feel is the result of what we call dual broadcasting. Your field is attempting to broadcast your true high-frequency signal, while simultaneously trying to suppress it to maintain your safety in a dense environment. This internal split is the most draining activity a consciousness can engage in. You are essentially fighting yourself to stay small. The energetic debt you have accumulated from this split has reached its limit. You can no longer maintain the performance of the unlived life without your physical and emotional systems beginning to experience a total shutdown. This is not a failure. It is your system's way of forcing you to look at the point of choice. In the mechanics of timelines, the point of choice is the moment where a single decision can redirect your entire future trajectory. Most beings wait for a massive external event to force a change. But the Arcturian Council and the higher intelligences reaching out to you now are trying to help you understand that the most powerful corrections are made when the drift is still small enough to close with a single conscious act. You are at that point right now. The window of alignment is open and the restructuring frequencies of the Pleiadian transmissions are pulsing through the grid, specifically designed to dissolve the foreign code and clear the frequency contamination from your field. These frequencies are like a tuning fork held near a fragmented crystal. They provide the resonance required for your field to reorganize itself into its original, coherent, and luminous pattern. But this restructuring requires your active, sovereign agreement. It cannot be done for you, because your free will is the primary law of this dimension. The urgency you feel is the signal from the field that the optimal window for this correction is not permanent. Timeline mechanics are precise. There are moments in the energetic architecture of a planet's evolution where certain activations are effortless because the cosmic currents are supporting them. We are in such a window now, but the currents will shift. If you continue to wait until you feel more ready or more healed, you are misinterpreting the nature of readiness. Readiness is not the absence of fear or the completion of all inner work. It is the simple sovereign decision to stop resisting the enormity of what you are. The certainty you seek does not precede the choice. It follows it. The clarity you crave will only crystallize once you make the commitment to your authentic frequency. You have been treating your mission as a beautiful theory, but the time for theorizing has run out. The field is now demanding embodiment. The underground city is ready to rise. The suppression field is weakening, and the foreign code is being highlighted so that you can consciously release it. The disconnection you have felt was the necessary friction required to make you uncomfortable enough to finally choose the truth over the performance. Every near awakening and every collapse back into ordinary life has been a calibration, building the structural integrity of your inner vessel so that you can hold the restructuring frequencies without shattering. You have been tempered by the density of this world so that you can now transform it. The amnesia is breaking and the signal of your true nature is becoming audible above the noise. You are not a passenger in this life. You are the frequency that determines the path. The drift ends here. The point of choice is now. The window is open and the higher councils are standing in observation, waiting for the sovereign declaration that will initiate the collapse of your highest possibility into your lived reality. You are no longer waiting for the universe. The universe is waiting for you to recognize that the time for hiding is over. The signal is yours to broadcast. The mission is yours to claim. The correction is yours to make. And you must make it now, before the alignment shifts and the density once again obscures the path to your true sovereign self. Everything we have explored together, from the mechanics of the unlived life to the sophisticated layers of frequency suppression, has been leading us to this final threshold of recognition and embodiment. We are moving now from the why and the how into the actual now. This is the third and most vital layer of our transmission because it is where the concept becomes a living, breathing reality within your very cells. We are stepping into the luminous architecture of what the ancient traditions called the aura, and what we now recognize as your personal galactic signature, the sovereign field of your highest potential. You have been treated as a seeker for long enough, perpetually looking for the next piece of information or the next healer to fix the perceived brokenness within you. But the Arcturian Council and the higher intelligences witnessing this moment are here to remind you that the seeker's journey is over. It is time to become the source. The pressure you have felt in your chest for years, that sense of a dormant power waiting for a signal, is the energetic evidence of your sovereign activation. It is not something you are waiting to receive, it is something you are finally allowing yourself to broadcast. I want you to bring this understanding into your physical body right now, because a frequency that is not anchored in the flesh is merely a ghost of an idea. If you are in a space where you can do so, I want you to place both of your hands over the center of your chest, one on top of the other, right over your sternum. Feel the physical warmth that begins to generate between your palms and your skin. Close your eyes for a second and breathe a long, slow, deliberate breath into that specific space. As you inhale, I want you to recognize that you are not just pulling in oxygen. You are drawing in the very substance of the unified field, the raw intelligence of the Arcturian and Pleiadian restructuring frequencies that are currently pulsing through the grid. And as you exhale, imagine that frequency radiating outward from your heart, moving through your ribcage, through your skin, and expanding into the room around you. With each breath, see this field becoming more luminous, more defined, and more coherent. You are not building this field from scratch. You are simply acknowledging the architecture that is already there, waiting for your conscious attention to act as the final key. The universe is a perfect observer. And the moment you turn your focus toward your own bioelectromagnetic halo, the field responds by locking into place. This is your somatic activation. It is the moment the observer and the observed become a single unified force of creation. In this state of coherence, I want you to internalize a new mantra, one that will act as a structural anchor for your nervous system whenever the old static tries to return. Say it to yourself now, or even out loud if you are in a space to do so. State over story. Let that sink in. Your present vibrational state is infinitely more powerful than your entire history of not being in that state. The frequency you are holding right now, in this breath, in this moment of recognition, is more determinative of what your field attracts and what your timeline becomes than everything that has happened to you in every year of your life up to this point. The quantum field does not operate on the basis of your past traumas or your perceived failures. It responds to your present resonance. This is the most liberating truth in the entire transmission because it means the correction is available right now. The alignment is accessible right now. You do not have to wait for the story of your life to become perfect before you can inhabit the state of your power. The sky is never diminished by the storm, and your frequency is never permanently broken by the suppression. You are the sky, and the weather is just a narrative passing through. Now, we must speak of the crown, In the ancient texts, the crown was often depicted as an ornament of status, but it was actually a technical diagram of a high-functioning human being whose internal coherence had reached a critical mass. To claim your galactic signature is to put on that energetic crown. This is the frequency of sovereignty, the immovable certainty that arises when you realize that your worthiness is not a performance, but a fundamental law of your existence. You have been tempered by the density of this plane so that you could eventually hold the weight of this authority. You are a frequency keeper, someone who can maintain their coherence even when the world around them is in a state of entropy. This is not a burden, it is your ultimate creative opportunity. When your halo is active and your crown is held high, you no longer have to guard yourself against the low-frequency chaos of the world. You protect yourself by being so fully and authentically yourself that what is incoherent simply cannot find a frequency match in you to attach to. Light does not fight darkness, it simply occupies the space. To ground this activation into your daily life, I am giving you a 7-day protocol. This is how we build empirical evidence for your own magic, because the logical mind needs proof to stop doubting. For the next 7 days, every morning before you pick up your phone or let the noise of the external world enter your field, take 3 minutes. Place your hands on your heart, breathe fully, and make a sovereign declaration of your frequency. Say, I am awake, I am aligned, my frequency is my protection. Throughout the day, whenever you feel the drift beginning, whenever you feel the old exhaustion or the whisper of the suppression program, pause for one breath and return to the state of the observer. Notice the signals, trust the inexplicable knowing, and remember that you are the navigator, not the passenger. By the end of this week, you will see a pattern of precision in your reality that logic cannot explain. You will see that the field is responding to your elevated signal with a speed and a clarity that will stun you. You might wonder why this is happening to you specifically and why now. It is because the collective field of human consciousness is at a tipping point. We are in a window of alignment where the energy required to shift the entire planetary trajectory is at its lowest. But this shift requires a sufficient number of activated nodes, beings like you who have fully claimed their mission and are living it with their full presence. You are not a separate part of the awakening. You are the catalyst for it. The Arcturian Council has been watching your preparation, and the Pleiadian frequencies have been seeding your field, waiting for this moment of recognition. The waiting is over. The amnesia is breaking. You are no longer almost ready. You are here. The certainty you seek will follow your choice, not precede it. The clarity will crystallize through your commitment, not through your waiting. You are ready enough right now, with all your doubts and all your humanity, to step through the threshold. If you feel the weight of this truth in your chest, if you feel the recognition moving through your cells like a cool current of water, then it is time to anchor this signal in the collective field. Type in the comments below, "My mission is active. My frequency is my protection." Do not do this as a social media gesture. Do it as a frequency declaration. Let the vibration of that intention move from your mind, through your hands, and into the digital grid. You are signaling to the other starseeds that you are online. You are adding your frequency to the thousands of others who have received this transmission, creating a web of coherence that spans the globe. We are building something together that the old world cannot touch. Your signal matters. Your presence is the proof. Carry this stillness with you as you move back into the flow of your day. You are a sovereign navigator, and the universe is mid-response to your arrival. Stay in the field, hold your crown, and remember that you were coded for this moment across more lifetimes than you can remember. The window is open, the alignment is here, and you have finally answered the call. The next transmission that belongs with this activation is titled, "Your Frequency Just Spiked," as it will show you exactly how to work with the momentum that has already started building in your field. The waiting is over. The mission activates now. Your halo is alive and you are exactly who you were meant to become. Welcome home to your power. Welcome home to yourself. The activation is complete.